Hello, happy Monday to everybody out there. This is the Ask Joseph Land Insiders Club show, and we are here today with Joseph Land and got an exciting day to talk about some exciting news and things of that nature. And before I get started with Joseph Land, I've got a good question for Jennifer on the screen today. We just saw on Facebook they're celebrating an anniversary, and I saw where there's pictures of the pre-date, and then I saw the anniversary pictures, and it was really, really amazing. Jennifer, tell me a little bit more about your anniversary and celebration.
You're muted.
She's muted.
You're muted.
No, still muted.
Okay. Weather was perfect. It was totally amazing. We got to celebrate it with our little baby son, who's only 8 months old, Maximus the Yorkie. Went to the beach, dinner, of course, a little shopping. So it completed everything a woman would hope to have on her 1-year anniversary. Wined and dined, and went to a baseball game. That was huge.
I saw that.
I've never been to the Joseph Riley Baseball Stadium, and I love baseball. And I used to work with that minor leagues with my business. So that was a real treat to see the Citadel take a big win in our hometown. So that it was just beautiful. No, it was just amazing. And I think the thing is, what I love so much about social media, Tom, is that you have these flashbacks that pop up on your phone where you were a year ago. We all can relate to that, what we've seen. And there was just an outpouring of love that we had a year ago today. And with family and our children here, it's times like that you just cannot, you can't put words to it, but memories are so valuable. And I think that's what I learned this anniversary for myself, is that hold on to those memories. They may have been a year ago or 5 years ago, but it's amazing. And I think it just made me have a lot of gratitude. So thank you for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. I did see the pictures on social media, and I was commenting as much as I could. Maximus he was playing in the sand. And I don't know, he drew a great big heart or something saying he loves you guys or something like that. I think that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it looked like y'all had a great time and went out and got some shopping done, ate at some really nice places. And really, I mean, a year anniversary, congratulations from all of us here today, because we think a lot about both of you guys and love both of y'all very, very much. And, just congratulations from each and every one of us today.
Well, my children really quick sent a message, all 5 of them, on a group chat, and they said, "Happy anniversary, Mom and Joseph. We're so excited." And Joseph's response was, "Well, I think she decided to keep me around another year."
Yeah, I mean,
So
there's a lot
you.
of things that run out with a year warranty, right? You only get a warranty until you buy the extended warranty. So let me ask you a question. Did you buy the extended warranty?
Oh, absolutely. So
All right,
thank you
good.
for asking, and thank you all for joining this call this morning. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Happy anniversary again.
Thank you.
Joseph, sorry about that. We distracted a little bit, but that's okay, huh? So anyway, welcome to the show. And I know Joseph Land has got some really exciting stuff to talk about today. 6 more things I think that are really going to impact your life and transform the way that we think about our businesses and the way that we work our businesses, and how not only that, but how we look at life in general. So Joseph, before we get, I'm just going to say, welcome to the show, and let's get this on the road. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here.
Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you, everyone. And it's great to be here again at noontime Eastern Standard Time on our show. And it's great to have everybody on. And we're building a nice team, and very excited about what's going on and how we're able to encourage people to be their best. And a little later, you're gonna understand why I'm gonna talk to you about this today. But I'm gonna give you 6 what I call life awakenings a little bit later. 6 life awakenings. And the first one, I'm going to give you the first one right now, and I'll repeat it later. But sometimes that your old life has to fall apart before your new life can begin, and you can fulfill your really life purpose. All right. I want you to remember that. The first one is sometimes that your old life has to fall apart before your new life can begin, so you really can fulfill your life purpose and what God has really called you to do. And with that, I'm going to introduce my 35-year friend. And I am so excited about this man, who he is. And I want y'all to pray for him because I didn't realize he was having some medical issues with arthritis in his spine. I want y'all to pray for Tom Henderson. But Tom has been one of my close friends for a lot of years. We've seen a lot of things in business together, but I saw this man go through the fire. I really did. See, a lot of people are struggling in society today, and they don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have anybody to tell about it. They're afraid to drop down their arm and be vulnerable and humble and say, "Hey, I need help," you know. And there's power in vulnerability. There's power in saying, "Hey, man, I'm struggling. Can you help me? Can you give me some advice, or can you?" So not only have I given Tom Henderson advice, I've received a lot of great advice from this godly man with great wisdom. But I want him to tell you guys a story that's going to blow your mind, and it's also going to, for those of you guys who are like me and have hair on the back of your neck, it's going to raise the hair on the back of your neck because there's some crazy things that happen in business today in our society, and you have to be aware of it. You have to protect yourself. And the way you protect yourself is being in a group like this of people who can encourage you and you can ask questions to and can lift you up and help you to be the best you can be. So please help me welcome my friend and elite entrepreneur, Tom Henderson. Tom has been a very successful businessman for all these years, and he's still at it. So Tom, welcome to the show, and I can't wait to hear your story.
Thank you. Thank you. Last week on the call, I kind of, we were talking about ahead of the curve in industries and how industries change. And I mentioned that in 2000, I'd opened up a couple of travel agencies in the super Walmarts in Port Richey and Newport Richey. And then there was a thing coming along called the internet, Travelocity, Expedia. So after spending about $140,000 investment, getting everything set up, the travel agencies and staffing them. Then 2011 came along, and a lot of the travel and groups and stuff we had booked, everything canceled. So a few months later, we ended up closing down the operation and ended up losing about 140 grand on our investments and stuff on it, which was really good. Then I ran into a couple business people, associates that I'd known in the past. And back then in 2000, setting up a credit card machine and everything wasn't like it is today, where you got your little square box and everything else. It was quite a procedure getting a credit card machine, getting it all set up, your location, you had to have locked in and stuff. They were starting up a telemarketing company where they were selling travel packages for $1,100 a travel package, and want to know if they could use my credit card machine to clear the transactions for them. So we worked out a deal where I got 10% commission for clearing their travels. They said they were going to do about 4 or 5 deals a day. So I looked at, $400 or $500 a day, and all I have to do is just do the paperwork, clear the transactions, and run them through my account. Then they got up to 25 and 30 transactions a day. I was making $50,000, $60,000 a month, and when you're making a lot of money, sometimes the money's coming in and everything's looking great, and a lot of times you don't do your due diligence, which I did not do, which is on me. But I had a nice condo paid for, driving around a brand new Cadillac, I was up in Minnesota and I went to put gas in the car with my debit card, and it was declined. And I knew I had around $50,000 in the bank. So I called my bank, and Janet, the bank manager, which I knew personally, because when I do banking, I do banking inside. I like to know the people. If you have a relationship with them, it's easier to get what you want, anything that they can do. A lot of times that if you're just doing drive-through, they don't know you. There's a lot of options there. But anyway, Janet says, Thomas, she said, what the hell have you done? And I says, what do you mean? She said, well, she said, I've had 3 suits in here all day. I'm not even supposed to be talking to you. She said, Federal Trade Commission, IRS. She said, I had 3 checking accounts at the bank. She says, you're $3,346,000 overdrawn at the bank. And as the process went along after that, I was actually $346,000 overdrawn at the bank that they put a hold on it for outstanding. The other $3 million is just what they threw on just to lock everything down for me. After going through an attorney, and this was in 2003, I had a $500 an hour attorney. He asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to stay out of jail. So all the wire transfers that I had been doing, I had records of everything, and they had not been fulfilling some of the orders. They had mismanaged money. One of them ended up going to federal prison. So I ended up getting rid of my condo, my car, living in my office on a air mattress and driving a $400 car. And that's not where you want to be at 60 years old. Joe Land, I'd known for probably about 10 years at the time. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, financially, to say I was at the bottom, I was in the basement, -0. Thank God Joe was there. And he knew some of the people involved in this. Through a lot of prayer with Joe and his guidance, I was able to rebuild back from the $400 car, sleeping on an air mattress in my office. And 2022, everything I have is paid for. I'm not in debt for anything. My wife and I, we travel all the time, and God is really good. Joe has helped me build a couple new businesses and stuff over the last 18, 20 years. He's helped me reestablish to where I'm at today. So what we have going here, sharing here, is just the tip of the iceberg. I've been so blessed with good mentors. That's all I have, Joe. Thank you so much.
Tom, that's a great story. Now, I want to enlighten you to the story a little bit. The people that beat him out of all this money were people that he knew socially and that he thought were good people. And so here's what happened. He gave them access to his credit line, his ability to process transactions. And so what they did is they sold millions of transactions to people, took the people's money and never gave them anything for the transaction.
And this
Never
was
gave them
around
a
the
trip.
world. This
Yeah,
was
they
around
never
the
gave him a
world.
trip. And Tom, in trusting these folks, thought he was okay. And they let him start making some money up front and then dropped the hammer on him, dropped the boom. And so here's the encouragement for everybody today. In life, you're going to run into folks like this. In life, there's wisdom in many counselors. You know, here's my story. I don't do one thing, number one, without talking to my wife. and seeking her guidance and counsel on it. Number two, talking to my mentor and my financial advisor. I don't do one thing without doing that in a deal, right? And so we have to set up good guidelines so that we are not taken advantage of like that. And in today's world, there are plenty of people out there who are willing to take advantage of us. Okay. So here's the great story. So number one, sometimes your old life has to fall apart, right? And that's what you just heard about, so that your new life can begin. Now, here's a man that has gone from the pinnacle to the pit and back to the pinnacle, right? And so here he is back on top again, because never once did he ever not trust God in the process. Never once did he not seek godly counsel. Never once didn't seek encouragement on a daily basis so that he could come out of this. And he was told all the time, Tom, you got the talent. You've done it once, you can do it again, right? And look at him today. So today, he has a beautiful wife that Jennifer and I love named Lynn. They have a beautiful home in Florida. They have a beautiful business, and they constantly travel, and he has plenty of money. So sometimes when we think we're in the pit, it's God preparing us for a run to the pinnacle again. All right.
I want to say
Isn't that a great
one thing,
story?
Joe, on top of that. The best thing that ever happened to me was losing everything. I had lost sight of my spiritual walk. I'd lost sight of everything. The money was good, and it's so easy to get lost in it. And also, along with losing everything I had, I went through a divorce, single for 20 years. And like you, my wife and I are getting ready to celebrate our 5th wedding anniversary in August. So just, God is good. Save the best for last, for sure. So
That is awesome. That is awesome. What a great story. You guys love that story? So if you know somebody who's been down on their luck, you need to have them, you need to send them the link to this podcast today, to our show today, and encourage them. So here are my 6 things, and then I'm going to call on a few of you guys. Okay, number one, you remember what number one is? Number one, sometimes your old life has to fall apart before your new life can fall together. And sometimes it happens a couple of times. With me, it happened twice. I lost my baseball career, and then I had to start over in my life, and God gave me the crown jewel of my accomplishments when he gave me my wife, Jennifer. All right. So that's number one. Number two, the job or position or party. Let's see how I want to say this. It's more important to know when to leave it than to stay in it. All right. And some people stay in a toxic environment or relationship until it takes them down. And so in a toxic relationship that's really causing you emotional stress, if it's a business, then you get to find a way to get rid of it. And I'm going to tell y'all, where there's peace, that's where God is. In my business, if there's no peace, I'm not doing it. If Jennifer and I are asked to make an investment in a business and there's no peace, we're not doing it. Because we know where there's peace, where there's harmony, where there's no toxicity, there's success. Does that make sense to you guys? Isn't that cool? Anybody ever been in a toxic environment? I certainly have. And it's no fun. All right. 3, here's the third one. God created you special. You don't have to fit in and be like everybody else, right? God made me different. God made you different. but he made us all wonderfully special. And so this thing of you having to conform to what somebody else thinks you ought to be is a bunch of hogwash. Just be who God created you to be and be the person that you're designed to be. And your time is going to develop when you have great success. But don't let somebody else define who you are by putting pressure on you to fit into their clique or what they're trying to accomplish or any of that stuff. It's just, again, going back to that toxic kind of environment. The fourth thing is I want to talk about honesty. The fourth thing is honesty. Expecting honesty from people who can't be honest with themselves is a very futile experience. All right. Did y'all hear that? When, I'm a former well-conditioned athlete. And when I got out of the shower this morning and I looked in the mirror, I said, oh my gosh, I got to work on myself. That's just being honest. If I'd have sat there and said, oh my gosh, you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would not be honest with myself, right? So life is a constant process of me being honest with myself, forgiving myself for my shortcomings. Lord, forgive me for eating that piece of key lime pie. I'm going to do better tomorrow, but at least being honest with yourself. And you can't expect honesty from someone who is not honest with themselves. Is that the coolest thing? So that's number 4, honesty. Number 5, it's not your job to fix other people. Not your job to fix them. I'm not in the fixing business. I'm in the mentoring business. I'm in the building business. And I'm not into fixing people. When somebody asks Jennifer and me a personal question, you know what we do? Sometimes we will say, okay, we're not going to talk about business anymore. And we'll move to another seat in the room. If we're in a boardroom, we'll move to another seat. And then we'll repeat it. Okay, we're not talking about business anymore. Because I want them to know they just asked me a personal question. And I'll tell them about my faith. I'll tell them about how my wife made my life different. Her strong faith made my life different, and how there's hope for them. But you can't fix someone. God has to fix them, right? You can encourage them. You can tell them your story, just like Tom Henderson just told you his story. And your story is so powerful because God gave you a unique story. But if you continue to try to fix others, you're going to be in a constant state of frustration. But here's what your job is. Encourage them. Just encourage them. All right. Talk to them in the third person. Somebody asks me a question, I'll always say, well, let me tell you what so-and-so told me about that. I'll never tell them directly. I'll tell them in the third person. Well, what do you think about so-and-so? I said, well, I don't know, but let me tell you what so-and-so told me about that, right? And I'm telling them directly what I want to tell them, but I'm telling them from somebody else's perspective. That way you don't offend people, and that way you encourage them and lift them up. So remember that when you're talking to people, because people are easily offended today, and you can never fix them, okay? So the 6th thing I want to talk to you guys about, is this good or what? Is this good? Man, is wherever you are in life, now you heard Tom Henderson's story, wherever you are in life, in the blink of an eye, in a minute, everything can change for you in your favor. I want to say that again. Number 6, no matter where you are, in the blink of an eye, in a minute's passing, someone can walk into your life and change everything for you, or give you a tip that changes everything in your business, and boom, you're on your way. You know why I know that? It's happened to me 3 or 4 times. And when I'm sitting there thinking I got the answer and I don't, and I'm praying and the answer shows up, I know the answer's there, right? And so someone in a minute or an hour, or someone can walk into your life that can put you on the course of your destiny. And from then on, things will be different for you and your family for the rest of your life. And not only you, for the other people that you contact and bless with your story, just like Tom blessed us today. Are those 6 points helpful for you guys today? I knew they would be. Who's got a favorite point? What's your favorite point, Shane?
Number one, because this is something that's been up for me over the past 2 weeks, that, maybe what worked in the past is not what is necessarily what's going to work today now for who I am and going forward.
That's right.
That's
And
very
I'm so
powerful.
proud of you. Look how professional she looks, and she's just a classy, sophisticated lady. Look at her. And she's just on her business. And I'm so proud of her. When I met her, she didn't know what she was going to do with her business. Isn't that right, Shane?
That's right. And you gave me a couple of options that solved it, because I was going back and forth. I've had all this skill and practice in biofeedback, helping people on many levels. And I'm also a studio oil painter. And I was like, well, which one? And Joseph said to me exactly what I needed and wanted to hear, which he said, you can do both.
Right.
So that's what's leading me on now. I don't know if you want me to go into more detail at this point, but.
Yeah, and just a little bit. I want you to put your information down in the chat, if you will, how people can contact you, because I think what you do for people is powerful. Jennifer and I were talking about you over the weekend, if your ears were burning. And so I think it's very important for people to be able to get a hold of you. And Tom, this might be something that might help you, what you divulged to us on the front end of this call, your spinal issues. But yeah, Shane, tell us a little bit more. Let's go with that.
Okay, so I've been mainly focused on getting my biofeedback practice up and running again. And it's a longer trajectory than I had anticipated in terms of relearning software and updated software changes and all the things you do to build a foundation for a business. And now I've found a wonderful web designer, and she and I are starting to work together. And I'm really so excited to be able to make it be a positive reflection of my vision of what I want to do in my healing work, and also that I'm so committed to the idea that not only is it important to do something, at least for me, that is using a lot of analytical skill, but also honor the creative side, which can be thought about in terms of left brain, right brain, and finding that balance, and not just in life in general, but in a business sense too. So I'm looking at my website that way, where I can talk about my healing practice, talk about my art and my music. And these are basically the 3 areas that I am really passionate about. So that's what I've been doing with my biofeedback practice, a lot of nuts and bolts, paperwork, study, and talking it up. And people are always interested in it, deciding how I'm going to do it. Do I want people to come to my home really necessarily? Is it going to work on Zoom or is it not? Because it's really not interactive so much. You just want the person to relax and not think about what you're doing or ask questions. So there's a lot of, I guess you'd call it strategy and logistics, like we heard about 2 weeks ago. But now, just to talk a little bit about my painting, now is the time where the show season is really gearing up, especially here in Nantucket. And I belong to an association where there's just show after show after show, which is terrific. It's great. So I'm really feeling like not only because of that reason that I want to turn more of my attention to my painting at this point this year, but also because I had this, just kind of had this, I guess, getting very upset and then epiphany within the past 2 weeks about what is it that God really wants me to be doing. And, I almost feel silly because I've, come on and talked about my biofeedback business, and I do still, I'm moving along with that, but I just feel also it's so important for me to touch back in with my oil painting too. So I thank you for this whole 6 life awakenings is so
Yeah.
so pertinent for me right now. And so, right on the mark.
You're a very gifted lady. You're a very gifted entrepreneur. And the thing that you need is encouragement, just like we all need.
Right.
And I'm going to constantly encourage you to bring out God's gifting in you so that other people can enjoy it.
Thank you.
Because you have a lot to give to mankind. And I know it and I see it. And other people are starting to see it on this call. And many, many, many more people will see it. Because I'm not going to let you sit on your talent. I'm going to encourage you to broadcast your talent so that others can see and enjoy it as well. So you're an amazing lady. So the main thing is just be encouraged. And sometimes our ideas aren't exactly where God wants us to go, and he has another course and he has to keep nudging us onto that course. And so I see that happening with you. And the last thing that I want to do is to not be an encouragement to someone, heck, there are times I would be very humble and vulnerable with you guys. I mean, there are times that I get ready to do this call today and there are 5 other things that I need to be doing right this minute that would make me a whole lot more money than being on this call. All right. I'll be very honest with you. I mean, there's all kinds of things happening here in the background, but my commitment and my commitment to my wife is that this is what I'm going to do. This is kind of my ministry. And I want to be a blessing to people. And I want to share with people what I know, even if it's inconvenient for me sometimes. And as an entrepreneur, everything is not going to be convenient. If it was, there wouldn't be any success standing behind it, And so just remember that everybody that you meet along the way just needs a little nudge of encouragement along the way. And so number one, sometimes your old self and your old life has to fall apart for the new self and the new life to emerge and for you to have great success. And I am an example of that. I am a total example of that. And here's one more way I want to say this, and I want y'all to write this down. There's no future in the past.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to find your future in your past, you're not going to find it. There's no future in the past. God has a great future for you. And the past was just simply the learning experience in the school, the university you had to go through to get to where you are. So there's no future in the past. And sometimes your old life has to fall apart so that your new life can begin. And you can really get to where you are in your calling. And I'm looking at every one of you guys on this call, and every one of you has a story similar to Tom's and similar to Shane's. And it's amazing. I mean, I've seen so much with you, Tony Fightmaster. We've been through so much stuff together. And isn't that the truth? You're muted. You're muted, Tony. Let's
Oh,
see.
here we go.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Yes, that is right, Joe. And we have walked down the paths where the rug has been pulled out from underneath us more than once. And it's an interesting thing. I look back and I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for 07, 08. And I won't go into all of that, but I'm thankful for 07, 08 because it caused me to expand my mind and instead of looking in one direction, look at broader and be open to what God was doing. And I love the book, Experiencing God. It's a book that I've gone back to. It's a great book, and really the focus of it is to find out what God is doing and get involved with Him in doing that. And instead of trying to tell God what He's going to do, how about doing what God's doing? And it's an interesting thing, a way to look at things. And those moments like 07, 08, and a few other things that have happened in the last several years have caused me to do that, Joe. And I see God's goodness in all of it. Everything that's been pulled out from underneath me, it's been a blessing, and I appreciate it.
Amen. Guys, I want to tell you a funny story. In 2007 and 8, you know, the subprime situation was going on, and banks were repoing houses, and the real estate market was in complete turmoil. And I used to have a funny thing. Of course, I had a huge commercial real estate portfolio, and I used to tell people at the time, you know, I'm really good in real estate. If you'll give me 5 million, I can make you a millionaire. I can turn it into a million. That's how tough 2007 and 2008 were. But anyway, if you want to be a millionaire, give me 5 million, and I'll turn it into a million for you. But that's the way it was. And you know, Tony, what did you learn from that?
Well, one thing I just learned that you get up again. You get up again. You don't lay down. You just get up again and keep moving forward with your eyes a little bit wider open and a little wiser, and understanding that things happen. You know, I see people that become bitter when things happen to them, and they blame God, and they blame this person, blame that person. And what I've discovered is that you know, life is life. I mean, sin is in this world, whether we like it or not, and it does impact us, but we don't have to wallow in it or the results of it.
Amen. I'm going to tell you all a story. And again, I probably shouldn't tell you this story, but I'm going to tell you a story of how you should react in adversity. So 2007 and 8, things were falling apart in the commercial real estate business, right? And in the residential real estate business. And so we had a $33 million building project, and banks were getting money from the government back then. Y'all remember that? Banks were getting what they call TARP money. All right. It's a rigged system if you don't know by now, but they were getting TARP money, and they were getting propped up. But entrepreneurs like me, you know, we create jobs and we do things, you know, entrepreneurs like us, and we do things to create jobs, and we do things to make money for people and for ourselves. And so when things got really tough, this bank, huge international bank. By the way, when things were good, this bank would come to my house and bring me notes for me to sign and say, "Oh, Mr. Land, we're so thankful to have your business. You know, what else can we do for you? We're going to always be here for you. And, you know, if you ever get in the ditch, we're going to get in the ditch with you, you know?" And so when things got bad, there wasn't a ditch, and they weren't willing to get in it if there was one. And so they called us to the bank for a big meeting. we want you to pay this $33 million loan off this afternoon if you can, because we got to get these loans off our books. And I looked at my partner and he looked at me and I just kind of chuckled. And I said, really, that's the reason we having this meeting? And they said, yeah. I said, okay. I said, I reached in my pocket. I didn't have the keys to the building. I reached in my pocket and I pulled out some car keys and I threw them on the desk. And I said, look, if you guys can do a better job with this project than the two of us, here's the keys to the project. Here's the keys to the building. You can have it. Now, this was 8 penthouses, $83,000 of high-end commercial space. I mean, it was like a catch me out villain. And they looked at me and they said, are you serious, Mr. Land? I said, yeah, I'm serious. I said, everybody's giving everything back. I said, we just give you all this back too. Y'all sound like you know more about real estate than we do. And the thing has reversed here. You've become the expert in doing the deal and we just a poor old borrower. That's exactly what I said. And you know what that guy told me? He said, I appreciate you standing up to me and telling me what you think. We're going to go along with you. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? I said, you remember when you told me you were going to be in the ditch with me if I ever had to get in the ditch? And I've never been in the ditch in my life, but now I am with this project. I said, if you'll stick with us, we're going to make this project good. We'll make this work. But if you don't stick with us, you're going to have a problem. Because I told you this day, this project is going to work and God is with me and this is going to work. So you got to decide who you're going to be with. And you know what? They stuck with us. We saw it through and we made it work. And today that building's worth a lot more than what it was back then. And so sometimes you got to look adversity in the face and say, I don't care if hell freezes over. I know I've been called to do this. I'm going to stay with my point. I'm going to see this through. And I don't care who I have to offend to tell what I think is the right thing. When you're walking in your integrity, you're not offending people. You're just telling them what's right. And then everything works, right? So I wanted to tell you guys that story because there are going to be times in life when you get in the ditch and you gotta know somebody who's been in the ditch who can help you get out, or you got to have the resources to get out yourself. So it's just exciting to see what's happening in our world today, because I think there's a time coming where there's going to be some people getting in the ditch. So you better be positioned correctly. So and my job on these calls is to tell you some of the things that I'm doing for myself and my family and my wife that may help you be successful if things go that way. So anyway, and next week I'm going to have Tony Fightmaster and one of his mentors talk about the silver and gold business and why you should own some. But anyway, any questions? Let's break out into some questions here a little bit. But I wanted to give you some of that because life is not a cakewalk for everybody all the time. You have to earn it. You have to earn what you do. And listen, there's a really nice sweet spot of me, but I can be ruthless in a business deal when somebody tries to turn on me or my company or my people. And my wife can tell you that. So, but anyway, let's open this up for questions. Anybody have any questions about what we discussed today, the 6 things? Terry?
Can you repeat number 2? You guys froze, or our internet froze, and when we came back, you were past that?
Number 2?
Yes, please, out of the 6.
Well, sometimes you can be in a toxic relationship.
Oh, okay.
And you need to get out of it and let it go. That was like, you can be in a job with a toxic boss. You can be partying with the wrong people in a toxic relationship and they're doing nothing but dragging you down. Or you could just be in any kind of relationship that's dragging you down. I remember I had friends that I played ball with. When I decided to get in the trucking business, you know what they told me? Oh man, you're crazy. You're going to lose everything you got. That's a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to lose. So what was I going to lose? Right. And so I needed somebody then to say, you can do it. If that's your dream, hey man, we standing with you. And we wish you the best of luck. That's a great relationship, right? So go ahead, Terry.
Also, we have a couple of venues that couple companies that we want to get our tea in. They're both health food stores. And our arrangement with the butcher shop in our local town here is an 80-20 split. And with that, we've considered, like, our time is very valuable. We have to go out physically and get the herbs we get. Then we have to dry them and then do a whole bunch of stuff before we put them in the tea bags. And so this one lady, she said, yeah, well, normally we do a 70-30 split. And what we believe is, well, the 80-20 split is where we can actually stay and make a profit. Not a lot, but it's worth our time. And so our question is, we should stick to our guns. I mean, that's what we feel. And we just want to get maybe some insight from yourself about it.
Okay. When you have a business, you need to add value. You need to add value in the industry that you're in order to scale it up. So listen to this. Uber. Okay, Uber. Did they add value? Of course they did. And I was reading an article. I don't know if you guys remember Lance Armstrong. Remember Lance Armstrong, the cyclist?
Yeah.
Well, when he got into his trouble with performance enhancing drugs and was accused of all that, he lost all his sponsors, lost all his money, lost all his income, and he really struggled. But you know what saved him? He made $100,000 investment in Uber, and today he's a billionaire. Because Uber added value. So let's talk about the tea business. How do you guys add value in the tea business? Well, did you hear what I said about your tea? Because I've studied your website and I'm very interested in it. And I've already ordered, Jennifer and I've already ordered tea from you guys. So I put my money right where my mouth is. So you add value to your industry because people can talk about organic, but you guys are like 4 steps above organic in what you do and the preparation that you do. And somebody like Joseph Land or Tom Henderson, who are looking for a tea that can have a medicinal effect on our bodies, we're coming to you every time because you're the real deal. There's no bull in your product. And that's the value you add. And you know what? I would pay more for that tea.
Well,
You
the next
understand?
order, Joseph, on the next order, you can do that. But
No, but you
all
understand what I'm
joking
saying about adding value?
the
And so
one,
don't compromise who you are or what you set yourself out to be. It's like, I'll take this back to the trucking business, transportation business. And Paul Joseph, I want you to listen to this. When somebody would say to me, I'll tell you a story about Walmart, and I probably shouldn't mention their name, but I went to a carrier conference about Walmart. And there were big carriers like myself sitting in the room, and the logistics guy said, you're going to haul this for this amount of money in this lane. And you're going to haul this for this amount of money in this lane, this amount of money in this lane. And at the end of his presentation, he looked at all the people, went around the room. He says, got to me and he said, Mr. Land, how many trucks can we expect from your company? And I said, none. I can't haul it for that. I'll go out of business hauling for your rates. And I said, but I prefaced it with, I would never offend you in any way. And I am so honored to be here. I built it up and then I drove my point home about adding value, Terry. Hey, I can give you the finest equipment on the road. I'll put 2 driver teams. I'll have it here overnight. I'll give you quality service, but I can't do it for that price. But here's my price. And once you put it inside one of my trailers that has Joseph Land on the side of it, it will be there. It will be there on time and it will be there at the right temperature. You can bet your life on it. But here's my price. That's my value added. And here's my price. And you know what? They're willing to pay it.
Like, I think she was just feeling us out. We're both doing interviews. We're getting information from her and vice versa. And one of the things she did say, you've got stuff here, teas here that nobody else has. So what she told me in saying that, she'll pay the 20%.
But Terry, you have to posture it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to posture it. If I told the Walmart guy right up front, hey man, you guys suck, I'm not about to give you any trucks, that would have been poor on my part.
Yeah.
But so how did I preface what I delivered my message to him? Hey, I am so honored to be here. I can't imagine any better honor than to be included among all of these carriers here, all of my friends and competitors. Thank you for having me here. I'm really honored to be here, but I'm sitting here struggling in my seat, wondering how I can make it hauling at these rates because, hey, I'm a sole entrepreneur. You know, of course, I have 1,500 trucks in a sizable company, but the only way that I'm going to be able to stay in business is to know what my costs are and my cost of operation. And when I look at that and I look at what you're wanting me to haul this for, I simply can't do it. I mean, I would love to add to my quiver of arrows the name Walmart, but I just can't haul for these prices. Well, guess what they did? Since I didn't insult them, they came back to me after the meeting was over and say, can you do these lanes for your price? And so I cherry picked what I wanted. And that's what's going to happen to you.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
See, when you get me, you get somebody who's been in the hunt and been in the fight and been doing what I've been doing. So I can tell somebody in the tea business how to posture the sale because you have an excellent product and you add value to your industry.
Okay.
Gary, could you put your website in the chat again? For some reason, when I got it last time, I couldn't get into the website, but if you put it in there again, I'd sure appreciate it.
Tony, they're making a cardiovascular tea too. They're in the process of developing that.
Okay, great.
You need to know about that too.
Yeah.
All right.
And we also named it Joseph.
So how are you getting recognized for the power of who you are and who are you doing business with right now that really, really talks about the power of what you're doing? Terry?
You're talking to,
Yeah,
to me.
Terry,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, we were for recognition, how we got it out there. We're on the Charlie Ward show. And I asked if we could put our name in the chat. And so Jimmy asked Charlie, is that okay? We could do that. And so he said, oh yeah, do it. So we got exposure like that. And we also have a butcher shop locally that is promoting our tea. They've got 12 of our teas. We're also running on Pinterest and getting it out that way. And now these two health food stores, one has 5 stores. And so we're just going out there. And I talk to a lot of people and they become interested and then just go from there.
Great.
And by here, obviously, Joseph and a few other people that are on here.
Well, when you get, see, my sense is that you aren't able to handle a Whole Foods or somebody of that magnitude if they said, hey, we're going to jump on this thing and buy a bunch of it. But you're building to that, right?
We're building to that, yes.
Yeah. And see, that's what's in your future. And so in business, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Mhm.
And so when we get to that point and we need to make those kind of introductions, we'll be aware of who we can introduce you to in those kind of positions that can help you grow your company.
Well, thank you.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Also, Terry, I will post your website on my Facebook page too. So to help get
Thank you.
it out.
Thank
Cool.
you.
We'll do it too. All right. Any other questions today?
Tom, do me a favor. No, Tony, I sent you a message regarding the gold and silver deal. And I met with their marketing person the other day on a Zoom call, and I'll be sending out some information to those guys because it looks like they want to hire me to promote what they're doing. And I just want to get your feedback on that. So if you don't mind, I can get you my phone number. I think I sent you my message with my email because I'm interested in what they're saying.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good, Tom.
Sounds good, guys. All right. Any
Great.
other questions?
We
Any
never
other,
heard-
Dave, how are you doing today?
Just taking it all in.
Good. Have you been following up on my suggestions to you with your business?
Yes, actually, it's kind of funny after that discussion. I received a LinkedIn message of a guy that's a broker in the business, and was like, wow, this just the timing of all this
Yeah.
came together. And then I dropped him a message where we might have some a product line that would fit what he was discussing on his video. So look forward to hearing back from him on that, and then just duplicate that with other brokers.
Yes.
It's exciting.
See, guys, posture, when you're building a business, no matter how small or how big it is, posture is everything. All right. So my story of having 1,500 trucks, and Paul Joseph, I want you to listen to this really closely. And 3,000 refrigerated trailers, and 26 terminals and all that, and $5 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. But my point is telling you, how about when I had 50 trucks and I went to call on a customer and they asked me the question, well, how many trucks do you have? Well, I can either say I got 50 in building, or I can say how many you need. I can cover everything you got. And they would say, well, how many you got? I said, well, I'm running 50 company trucks, but we're running about 2,000 in our system. Because we were using other people's trucks in a logistics fashion to haul some of the freight. And so the way you posture what it is you're doing means everything. And so I would walk away with somebody's business and I would kind of chuckle because they knew that I had the confidence to know I could handle it, number one. And then I was growing a fleet that could handle everything that they had in the future. You see what I'm saying? And so you want to posture yourself to win big at some event. And that's what I was doing all the time. And that's what I'm still doing. And if you don't believe me, look at my wife. Right? That's the biggest win of my life, right? Look at that girl. Man, you talking about a great salesman? Look at my wife.
I want to say something, Joe. I've known you for over 30 years, and I have never known you to be more happy than you are today. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. She's amazing.
Yeah,
But
anybody that can take it a year and turn you around, I think did a really good job. I think amazing
Right.
job.
That's right. Well, since it was our anniversary yesterday, I can talk about her a little bit without getting scolded. But I'm going to tell you, she's a better business person than I am. She makes a lot better decisions than I do, because sometimes my heart is too big and she's strictly business, and she'll give you the shirt off of her back. But if it's in a deal, she won't. I mean, she'll live up to the deal, but that's it. And see, I learn every day from her. I learn every day from her and the way she deals with people and handles people like you, Shane, with grace and dignity and all of those things. And it just means something. So So anyway, any more questions today about what we're talking about? Terry, do you put your information down in the chat? Shane, you put your information in the chat?
I did want to say one thing. Besides, thank you so much for those kind words, but I think Tom Henderson sharing that story just really resonated with me today. And I really feel connected in a tighter bond with our group. And I think that was, that was just mind blowing what had happened. And I think we all can relate on our own level. And I just feel that this is such a great outlet and we all can relate. And I feel a lot closer to each and every one of you. And it just gives anyone hope and encouragement. And I thank you for today. I just really, really enjoyed the show. So.
Thank you. You too. Tom, that was excellent. Thank you, Tom. And see, that's what we're building here. We're building that bond. And it's going to be special what we have in the future. So guys, I'm going to end this today because I like to keep this around an hour. And Tony Fightmaster, would you say a prayer over everyone as we close? You need to unmute yourself. And then we're going to end this Ask Joseph Land show today. And we'll see you next Monday at noontime right here on the same channel. So Tony, take it away.
Father, we pause and we just want to thank you for this opportunity to be with our friends, our brothers, our sisters here for this last hour. Thank you for Joe. Thank you for Tom. Thank you for all the talent that you've created that's represented here in this show every week. And as you draw us closer together, as Jennifer was just referring to, and as you knit our relationships and help us to grow our businesses, help us to be a blessing to others, Lord. May this be a great start to the rest of this work week. Help us to be a blessing, multiply our efforts, and we'll thank you for it. We praise you. We ask this in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you guys for joining me today, and God bless you all. Hope you have a great rest of your week. What a great way to get the week started.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you very
much.
much, Joseph.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
love you
everybody.
guys.
Thank you, Jen.
All right.
Love the hard work.
Thank you.
See you.